This mountain has seen it all. You know, a lot of climbers have had accidents over the years, a lot of deaths, unfortunately. So I just finished med school. I needed a break, so I told my buddy about it, Michael, and I told him about the mountain, and he was pumped. You know, the world just felt like it was ours for the taking. And the weather was shaping up to be amazing, nice and warm, no storms, extraordinary. And the climb was intense, you know, all kinds of tricky terrain, lots of elevation changes over a short period of time. And then we finally got to the top. So I'm standing there, you know, looking down on this alpine lake, just stunning, so clear. It was incredible. At this point, my legs were hurting. We were getting tired. The snow was really soft, and that made things really sketchy. So we just paused and thought, you know, it's supposed to be a building here. I had to check my map, and back then we actually had literal paper maps. But I was like, I know there's supposed to be a building here somewhere. 10, 15 minutes of wandering, we finally spotted it. We had to dig it out, but we got inside as quick as we could and settled in for what we thought was going to be a quiet night. I began to drift off to sleep, and you know, Michael was laying next to me, and suddenly the building started shaking. I scrambled across the wooden floor, and I had to use the building to hold me up. And I just saw this massive wall of a mountain moving towards us. It just kept getting bigger and bigger, and that's when I realized how fast it was really going. It looked like it was going 200 miles an hour. And by then it was just too late to do anything. It just smashed into us. Yeah, there was a ton of water from the alpine lake. Just so much water flooding in and mixing with all the debris. I was suddenly submerged and drowning like I was in the ocean. And then it got worse. A huge boulder came and it crushed my leg. I just felt my bones snap in my leg. It was an absolute horror movie. And I ended up, you know, stuck, and my legs were crushed beneath me. And Michael, he was trying to understand what happened. And I yelled, it was an earthquake and an avalanche. It hit us so hard that the debris and everything went straight through the building. It actually blew out the back wall of the building and allowed all the water to spill out. The ground and myself were frozen instantly because of the altitude. I started yelling for Michael. And so he rushed over and started frantically digging with his hands through the rock and ice, but it was pointless. Just, you know, his hands were getting cut up, and it just seemed impossible. Thankfully, he found an axe and started trying to chip away at the rocks. Finally, he got my legs free, and that's when I saw it. I screamed about 3 or 4 times. My leg was really bad. He was just barely hanging on with skin and a little bit of muscle. And yeah, fortunately, the freezing weather must have kept the flow a little slower. And we both knew that he needed to leave me alone. And this was only his 3rd time up the mountain. And I told him to go quick, man, but be safe, because I'm probably already dead. And he looked right at me and he said, "Shut the fuck up. I'm coming back for you." So he took some supplies and the radio to call for help. And when he was gone, I tried to move, and I knocked the axe over into my leg. I just screamed and then sort of blacked out from the pain. I came to, and I didn't know where I was or what happened. I was disoriented. And I tried to move my leg, but I was quickly reminded. My nose was developing frostbite. I could feel the onset of hypothermia setting in. I knew I had to get myself out of there. I kept looking around, trying to figure out a way I could escape. At one point, I even wondered if I could use my own pocket knife and just cut off my own leg. I've had medical training. I know it's possible. I mean, it's been done before. I knew that was a drastic option. I was out of options. I kept seeing flames, imagining the cabin going up in a burst of fire.
But what was happening was I was getting hot, and that's a sign that hypothermia is killing me.
And then I felt a rumble. Then I heard it. And then it hit. And this time it was worse than the first time. Felt like I was in a washing machine, or felt like a wave had just crashed around me, and I was screaming out in pain and terror, and everything was dark. You know, the whole cabin had been knocked down and covered. I knew Mike was outside, probably down the mountain, not far enough to get out. And now he was dead. And I was like, well, this is it. I'm dead. It was one of those moments where your life flashes before your eyes. Just boom, 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 boom. I was just thinking, holy shit, this might actually be it. I could feel it. I could feel it deep down. I was going to die here.
Yeah, I'm gonna die here.
I saw a light at the end of the tunnel, like everyone does. But this one got bigger and bigger and bigger. And there was someone on the other side. It was the hand of a rescuer reaching in to find me. It had been about 20 hours since Michael had left. He radioed for help and got a life flight up to me. They found my beacon. I didn't even remember turning it on. My leg had been ripped off in the second avalanche, and we never found it. And in spite of how horrible it was and how painful, how difficult the recovery in the hospital and afterwards was, I cherish it.
You know, losing a leg has taught me empathy and patience, grace, and humility. It's taught me who my friends are and how amazing my family is. I even met my wife after losing my leg, and you know, she likes me this way. Sometimes people ask me if I could go back, would I want my leg back? And I just say, well, do I get to keep the experience? All the knowledge I've gained from the experience? Because if not, I'd rather have lost my leg and learned everything about life that it's taught me. Because looking back, it was the best day of my life.